Coming up on this Friday, Mexico City F1 update.
He's not, going to let this affect him too much. But right now, Oscar does need that little bit of a boost. Will it come on Saturday? Maybe they've got something left in that SF25 and they're really going to surprise us, but you can't see it.
Advantage Max Verstappen on the opening day of the Mexico City Grand Prix as championship leader Oscar Piastri finishes Friday in 12th after a mistake on his best lap. From Racing News 365, my name is Nick Golding and I'm delighted to be joined as always by lead editor Ian Parks. And Ian, some interesting things to discuss from FP1 and FP2, but first of all, of course, I've got to mention that at Racing News 365 across this weekend's Mexico City Grand Prix, we are still running our very special prize giveaway. If you'd like to win a special edition Racing Ball shirt signed by both Isack, Hadjar and Liam Lawson, all you've got to do to be in with a chance of winning is be subscribed to the racingnews365.com channel. It is as simple and as easy as that. However, the competition will close when the checkered flag falls on Sunday, with the winner to be announced in our podcast on Monday. Now, only two more times I've got to mention that long thing, Ian. We've got to start with Max Verstappen because he was one of 9 drivers to miss FP1 when in the car in FP2, topped the session by just over a tenth and a half from Charles Leclerc, with an upgrade to the RB21 as well. But again, Max left Cota on top and he started in Mexico City the same way.
Yeah, we've got to remember, though, Nick, it is only a Friday session. However, fantastic conditions. What we're going to see across the course of the weekend, beautiful blue skies, temperatures in the mid-20s. So at least for FP2, in which the session Max topped, of course, those are going to be replicated across the course of the weekend. As I say, still the caveat, still Friday practice. Max didn't take part in FP1. He was one of 9 drivers, as you stated, that didn't take part in FP1. 9 rookies coming in and filling the seats, and some of the big boys, they had their opportunity. Part of the FIA regulations that rookies are given that chance across the course of the season. Max joined on the sidelines by, and hopefully I'll get it right, Lewis Hamilton in his Ferrari, George Russell from Mercedes, Lando Norris from McLaren, Lance Stroll, Aston Martin, Carlos Sainz, Williams, Oliver Bearman, Haas, trying to remember, Carlos Sainz, Liam Lawson, Racing Balls, and Pierre Gasly at Alpine. There we go. Managed to get through it. I remembered. Well done, Parks. Yes, so a good day overall, as I say, for Max Verstappen. 1.5 tenths quicker and looking good. We know he's got this new upgrade on the RB21 that's been introduced for this weekend. Tweaks to the floor that were introduced in Monza that has proven so good for that RB21 over these past few races. Those tweaks all in tandem with an overall cooling package, which is required for this circuit, given the temperatures. It's a considerable level above, it's a considerable way above sea level. You do need, as I say, this cooling package for the car, and that's working really well so far from the Red Bull in what we've seen. But as I say, it's only the one practice session. It is only Friday. Still a lot more to come from, I'm sure, the McLarens, the Ferraris, and maybe in the Mercedes. And Kimi Antonelli looked good.
He did, right. You mentioned their McLaren, so let's discuss them because mixed fortunes for Lando and Oscar. Lando ending FP2 in 4th. As you mentioned, he did miss FP1 with Pato O'Ward jumping into the McLaren. Oscar Piastri did both sessions for McLaren, made a mistake on his best lap in FP2, meaning he ended the timesheets in 12th. 8 tenths of drifting. Yes, okay, as you've said, it's only the opening day. It's not quite representative yet of what we're going to see in qualifying. But for a driver who quite clearly needs a bit of a boost after the last few rounds, a mistake on your best lap ending the opening day in 12th, that's not what the championship leader would have wanted.
No, we know Oscar's going through this bit of a rough patch at the minute. Obviously, those 2 crashes in Azerbaijan, that incident with Lando Norris in Singapore, of course, it seemed to get into his head from what I can tell. And of course, we had the crash in the sprint in last weekend's United States Grand Prix, and not an overall good performance from Oscar over that weekend, finishing 6th in that race. And he's now seen his lead that was once 104 points after the Dutch Grand Prix whittled down to 40 in the space of just 4 races. As you say, ideally, you would have liked a nice, clean Friday to show good pace, to give him a little bit of a fillip, a little bit of a confidence booster going into the weekend. He will know he's got it within him. He's not, going to let this affect him too much. But right now, Oscar does need that little bit of a boost. Will it come on Saturday here in FP3 and in qualifying to then take him into the Grand Prix? It remains to be seen. But yes, Oscar does just need a little bit of a something right now just to hang on to and go into the weekend in a good position.
And of course, Oscar is 40 points out of a very hot form, red hot, however you want to put it. Max Verstappen with Norris 14 points adrift. A team who, as they have for a few times in the last few races, definitely not a coacher, of course. Ferrari have looked all right on this opening day. Charles Leclerc topped FP1. He was then second in FP2 with Lewis Hamilton in fifth. We've seen a few times this year Ferrari turn their engines up a little bit more than their rivals on the opening day. Maybe a similar case today, but Ferrari did win, of course, in Mexico City last year with Carlos Sainz. That was Ferrari's last win in Formula One. So we know that they do like this venue. So second and fifth on the opening day, promising for Ferrari, but I think we've learned from the past, don't read too much into it.
Too much to expect a Mexico miracle for Ferrari. I think it just might be. I can't, famous last words, of course, who knows? Maybe they've got something left in that SF25 and they're really going to surprise us, but you can't see it simply because of the form that they have shown most recently. I mean, Charles Leclerc has been asked on numerous occasions in recent times whether he felt there was not just a podium left in, not just a win left in that car, but a podium. Got that podium at least in the United States Grand Prix. Can you go one step further? I don't see it. I just think that Max right now, with the way that RB21 is performing, and yes, as I say, okay, this is only Friday today, but nevertheless, a really good solid platform for Max to build, for Red Bull to build. I don't see it happening for Charles across this weekend. Maybe, though, there is the possibility of another podium. Lando looking reasonable, fourth quickest, quarter of a second behind Max. Kimi Antonelli, the slightly surprising package of the two Mercedes drivers. He was third quickest. George Russell a little bit off the pace. A couple little wobbles in his Mercedes throughout that session, not quite at home with it. But overall, it's still going to be a fascinating qualifying session, I do believe, because there is still so much that could come into play out of FP3 going into, as I say, that qualifying session on Saturday afternoon.
I will say George has had a very eventful day in Mexico City because for those who have been on social media have seen he actually watched the first practice in the Foro Sol Stadium wearing a Mexican wrestling mask. I thought that was absolutely brilliant and amazing. He wasn't spotted to quickly go through the top 10 from FP2. Max Verstappen topped the timesheets on a 1 minute 17.392. Leclerc in second, Kimi Antonelli in third, Norris fourth, Hamilton fifth, George Russell sixth, Yuki Tsunoda in seventh, Fernando Alonso in 8th, Carlos Sainz 9th, with Lance Stroll in 10th. Ian, final talking point, we need to discuss one of those 9 rookies from FP1, which is Arvid Lindblad, who replaced Max Verstappen in the RB21 at Red Bull. And we know that Arvid, obviously, in Formula 2 this year, he's the big favourite to get a Racing Bull seat for next season. Alongside who? Who knows? That's the big question. Arvid was a 10th quicker than Yuki in FP1 and in P6. That's a pretty good audition if he even needs one now.
I'd love to know the run plans of the two Red Bull drivers during that FP1 session. Again, it's one of those, how much would you want to read into it? Can you read anything into it? But nevertheless, he was 6th quickest. All the other eight rookies occupied the bottom 8 slots on that FP1 timesheet. So, fair play to Arvid. He did a good job. The expectation is he will be promoted into a Racing Bulls seat for next season, with Isack Hadjar going from Racing Bulls to join Max Verstappen at Red Bull, leaving only one available seat at Racing Bulls. Is it going to be Liam Lawson? Or going to be this guy just over my shoulder here, Yuki Tsunoda? As I say, a lot to do still for Yuki. Laurel Mekies has come out and turned around and said that there's still plenty of time for he and Helmut Marko to decide who's going to fill these seats going forward. The initial suggestion not so long ago was that actually they would make a call after this weekend in Mexico City. From what Lauren has said now, listening to him in a Sky Sports F1 interview after FP1, they may now take a little bit longer just to give it that little bit of Yuki, Liam, that little bit more time. Maybe they're not quite certain yet. Maybe it's too neck and neck between the two in terms of everything that they're seeing from both drivers right now. Maybe they want to see a bit more going forward over these final 5 races. And who knows when the team might make that call. Could they leave it as late as they did last season after the final Grand Prix? It seemed to be too late a call back then. Who knows what they might do on this occasion. But at this stage, from what Lauren is saying, it sounds like they're going to give it a bit more time.
And that's a good question to ask those watching this video. Let us know in the comments below who you think should get the second Racing Bull seat for 2026. Should it be Liam or Yuki? And let us know your reasons why. It'd be very interesting, as always, to get your views and opinions. Ian, amazing stuff as always, mate. For those who've been watching this F1 update, please do smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, not only if you want to be in the chance of winning that signed Racing Bull shirt, but also if you enjoy our content. Thank you as always. Comment below your thoughts and let us know who you think is going to claim pole position. For myself and Ian, we'll be back to dissect qualifying on Saturday. See you later.
Thank you for watching and listening. As always, take care, folks.